Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're going to be watching this video from. This is your friend Okoyemi TV in the School of Learning and Development. How are you doing today? I hope you are having an amazing time wherever you are. So today I'm going to be talking about how to add how to add the domain and also verified in the Microsoft 365 environment. How to add your domain and also what verify it. Okay, so now when you come to your admin environment, so you go to your admin, as you all know, to your portal, you go to admin.microsoft.com. So when you come to this your environment here, then you come down here and you go to settings. You click on settings. When you click on settings, you now click on domain. So when you click on domain, now if you look at this environment, so before I'm going to add my domain, now if there's something I just want you to understand. If you look at this my domain, you can see that I have a particular domain here, and if you look at it, it said possible service issue. Now if you look at this one, I have yemtech.onmicrosoft.com and you have healthy. Now what does this simply means? Now this simply means that this particular one here, there's possible host that the domain is no longer available, which means that maybe probably like I didn't get to renew my domain from my DNS environment. I didn't get to renew. So that's why you see. So now it's no longer communicating with your Microsoft 365 environment. So if you click on this here, you will see it will tell you that some of your DNS record are not set up correctly, which may be what imparting your organization use of Microsoft service. I said go to DNS record to review the error and fix the records. Now, like I said earlier on, I already have this domain before, but I did not renew it, which is actually intentional. So it got expire, so I didn't renew it. So now, but before I add another domain and then verify. There's something I want you to know. Something I want you to understand, which is actually you'll find it in the exam if you are trying to write the MS 102 exam. Now, in that exam, they can bring out the question and say, okay, if you have a domain where you have one is writing possible service issue and one you have and the other one you have healthy. Now, which one is going to, I think that is when you want to set up your user, which of these domain name can you use? Now obviously I can use both now, but there's just one issue that's going to happen. Now if I use this particular one here and now I decide to send an email, now maybe I go to my email and I send email, now that email will not be delivered. Why? Because of what? This domain is no longer communicating with your domain environment. Okay, so what do you do now? Like, okay, let me just show you something. If we go to this user here, I have a user called let me set for this user called relax. So this is a user I have here. Now if you look at this user now, you can see the domain name. You can see here. Now if I come to this user, if I copy this email and I decide to send an email, let me go to my let me bring up my inbox. Okay, so this is my Gmail account. Now I decide to compose an email. If I come up here, let me say test. Now and I click on send. Okay, now this email has been sent to that particular user. Now how do I know if this user is going to receive this email? Now I have the user logged in here. Let me open my, okay, so this is the user I have here. This is the user. I'm logging to the user here. If I come up here and I decide to refresh, I refresh, I refresh. So you can see that the email is not going to deliver. The reason being is because there's no communication any longer with that particular what domain. Okay, so there's no communication, but I set up a user using that part. So if you come up here, if you come up here, if you want to set up user, say add user. If you come up here, let's say test and test. So if you come up here, you can see my domain. I can choose with this one or this. I can create user with any of those domain. The one that is healthy and the one that is a possible word issue. Okay. If you click on it, I can create a user with it. You understand? But when you create a user with it now, you cannot what send an email to that particular user. Why? Because that particular domain is no longer routable on the internet, so it can no longer what communicate. Okay, so they cannot communicate. So that's why you see now, if I go back to my email here, you can see here I'm receiving what mail delivery. You can see it's telling me that address not found. So your message was not delivered to relax.man@cmtech.site. You can see that. So in case when you see something like this in an exam, so you definitely know that anyone that has this particular option, you know that it cannot, you can create a user with it, but that particular address cannot be used to send an email. You understand? So until I have to click on it, then go to my domain and then set up my MS record and its CS record and make sure everything is fine. But like I said earlier on, this particular domain is not renewed. So I just intentionally not what renew it. Okay. So I will just click on remove. So let me just remove that straight off. I'll come up here. Okay, let's me I might do that later. Okay, so I'll come back to that later. So here I want to add my new domain. Click on this one here, and here what is this domain I want to add? I'll come up here and type my domain yemtech it sorry yemtechit.com. This is my domain. Then I'll click on say use this domain. Can you see that? Use this domain. Now it's processing. It said verify you own your domain. Now, what do I need to do? Now, do I have this domain? Yes, I have it. That this domain, I have it in my name chip. If you come up here, this is my name chip. Let me see. I have a login here. So I will come up here. Okay, so this is my name chip. Okay, this is my domain here. Can you see that now? So on this name chip, I must make sure that you already have what the domain. Okay, make sure you have the domain. Okay, so now my domain is here. I'll come up here. So depending on what kind of environment, what kind of domain management you're actually making use of. My own is what is Namecheap. Okay, so now let me go back to that. Now I'll go back here. Now it said before we can set up yemtech.com, we need you to sign in to your domain host and verify that you own the domain, which I've shown you. I'm signing already. Now I'm going to add what the TX record to the domain DNS record, and we all know that the DNS is a domain name system. Okay, now so I'll come up here, I'll click on continue. Now once I click on continue, now come up here. Now this is the TX name. Come up here, I'll click on this, just click on copy. Then I'll go to my domain, come up here. Here I'll click on add new record. Come up here and then look for my domain, which is the txt record. I'll click on that. Now I'll paste that. Like I said, depends, some domain do not support this art. So if you don't have it, you can ignore it. Okay, so if there's not, you can ignore it. Now I'll go back again. Now here I'll now copy the text value. So you can see I said at or skip if not supported by provider. So it depends on the kind of domain that is. So if not supported, you can actually skip that. But this text value is very important. That is what Microsoft used to communicate to this particular domain. So I'll come up here, I'll copy this, and I'll go back. I'll now click on verify. Sorry, I'll go back to my record, come up here, value, I'll paste it there. Here, this is the TTL, which is time to leave. Okay, here I'll come up here, I will now click on 60 minutes. If you go back to that place here, if you go back to my domain here, my environment, you can see the TX level is what is 3600 what seconds. So that makes what your 60 minutes, okay, which is the 1 hour. So now I've put that one there. I'll now click on my save. Now my TX record has been added. So click on save. Let me make sure it's saving. So ensure it's saved. Okay, now so that has now been added. Now I will go back again. Once you are done, you come on back and click on verify. But look at it, before you click on verify, you can see it said we detected your DNS hosting provider is what is Namecheap, which I told you. If I go back to it, you can see now, you can see that it's Namecheap. I'm actually what making use of. Okay, so you can see that it's actually correct. So now I'll click on verify. So when you're verifying, at times it takes a while to get that done, but just continue. Now, say, how do you want to connect your domain? Now, here it said add your DNS records. If you click on this option here, you can see here add my DNS, set up my online service for me, skip and do this later, not recommended. So I have to do it. So I have to click on continue. Now, when you click on your continue, then you now come down here, you click on your MX records. So come up here, host, copy this, you go back again, you come up here, add new record. Now, which record are we trying to add? So let's go back to that, the MX record. Okay, MX record. So now let's go back now. So you come up here, scroll down, and then look for the MX record. Okay, so to add your MS record, you come here and click on this mail settings. So you come here and then you click on your custom MX. So once you do that, then go back to your, and then come up here. I'll copy this, then come up here and then paste that, the mail server, go back to that, copy this one. Then the time to leave is 1 hour. So I'll go back to this, paste that, time to leave 60 minutes, and then you come and then you save that changes. So now after adding the MX record, you go back again and then you come up here and click on your CNAME record. Then you come up here, you copy this host name, you go back here. So add records. Sorry. So you come up here and look for your CNAME record. Yeah, come up here, host name, you paste that, and then the target, go back, you copy this auto discover.outlook.com, go back there, and then you paste the target, and then the time to leave 60 seconds. Yeah, if I'm right. Yep. And then you come up here, you save your changes, and then you go back again, and then you come up here and add your TX records. Now, this other TX record we are adding is for the email protection, okay? For the email protection. So come up here, click on this, you go back again, and then you click on your add new record, TX record, come up here, paste that, and then you go back and you copy this. Time to leave is the same 1 hour. put the value there, come up here, you set this, and then you save that particular changes. Okay, now I click on this save all changes. Then you click on continue. This might probably take a while to get done. So we detected that no add record to GMT. Make sure the records you created are at your host. Yeah, so this might actually take some while to get detected. Okay, so you just have to keep on trying, give it some time. So let's make sure everything is now correct. So I have my TX record here, the CNAME record, the other TX record, and then the MX record. Okay, and then yeah, so this is the priority 60 seconds. So now let's go back there now, and then click on continue again. Now let's see. Now you can see now I say domain setup is complete. Can you see now? It says yemtech.com is all set up and you can now view and manage it from your domain list. Okay. Now, so was it easy? So just click on done. Now this is now added. So you can see now it's saying is what is healthy. Okay. Now I can decide to now make use one as my what as my default domain. So I'll just click on, I can click on this dot here. I'll say set as default. Set as default. Okay. Set as default. Now that has been set as default. Now I will now go back to my users, click on active users. Now I'll now decide to create a user. Come up here. I'll add a user. Sorry, before I do that, let me just get uh, a license. I need to remove one license from users. Okay, so let me just remove this license from this user. Okay, save. Now, then I'll come up here, add a user here. I will now come up here and let me just give it a name. Say test.man. Here, so you can see now it's not picking up what the domain, okay, at yemtechit.com. Now here, let me just create a password for that. I just want to test and then log in with that particular user. Okay, now come up here. Now I'll create a password. You go next. Here I can say yes. Oh, it's taking time to pick the license. Okay, let me say create a user without a license. Next, I'll come back to that. Next, and then I will click on finish. Let me just copy that. Click on finish, and then I'll make sure I have the password down. Now, let me sort out the license. Let's go back to this user. Say refresh. I think I removed this user license. Let me see. Oh, sorry. And check save. One or more license could not be modified because oh, okay, all right, okay. So let me just look for another user. Just remove license from that user. I'll come to this user here. Let's move this license and save. Okay, so that has been done. Now I'll go back to that my user called testman. And I will assign that license to that user. Now I will try to log in with that user. Come up here and click on my incognito mode. Then I will go to office.com. Try and sign in with that user and then do an email test and see if that is going to work. So come up here, give it my password. I'm sure this is going to require MFA. Yeah, okay. Next. So I will set off my the MFA because it's a new user. So MFA is actually required. Okay, so let me bring out my phone. Then click on next. Then I'll go to my authenticator. I'll click on add, scan QR code, next. Click on next, and I'll put the matching number there and then accept that. So this has been done now for me. So now I'm logging to this user. Okay, so now let me try to verify and send an email if that email will deliver. Okay, so this is my Gmail account. I'll come up here, compose, and I want to send email to that user. Let's see, put the email address. Just get test, and then I'll click on send. Hopefully that should uh, work immediately. And I'll minimize. Then I'll come up here, apps. I'll click on my Outlook, and then I will test to see if that email is going to deliver. Let me just refresh. So you can see that this particular user is now receiving an email. Okay, so you can see this is the email that was sent. Okay, so you can see that the user is actually what receiving what an email. Okay, so so this is how you can add your domain and verify it in the Microsoft 365 environment. Okay, so I hope you have learned one or two things from this video. If you have learned one or two things and you really want to support me, I just want you to share this video, like, comment, and also turn on the notification button when you subscribe so that you can get more content, more video when I create them. Okay, thank you for taking out your time. I will see you some other time. Bye bye for now.